and welcome to Candidly Chanel. Today we want to talk about being an enabler. And I feel like everyone has been guilty of being an enabler in a relationship, even when you realize, if you have not realized it or not. And I feel like men can take something from this as well, because just as well as women, men can be enablers to a relationship as well. So on my website, my blog website, a lady sent me a message about a question about her guy friend. So this was the thing she sent me. She was like, I've been dating this guy for the past 3 years and we have so much fun together. He treats me like a queen, but he also has a serious drinking problem, so much to where it's affecting our sex life and also his health. I have tried to get him into treatment programs, but when the day comes for him to check in, something always comes up or there's an emergency to where he thinks he can't go. I am getting so frustrated with him on all levels, and I have tried to end it several times, but every time I do, he ends up in the hospital. And I find myself back with him, afraid if I leave him for good, something worse will happen. Please help. Well, I really don't understand how a man can be treating you like a queen if he's having a serious drinking problem, for one. But I think that if he's having a serious drinking problem, he may be suffering from alcoholism, and that really is a serious disease that requires intensive treatment. And I always say you cannot help somebody unless they are willing to help themselves. And if he does not want to admit that he has a problem, well, that's another issue in itself. So I feel like, and then I feel like he's using this excuse of why not to go as a defense and strategy mechanism. Like, he knows where he has it. So if he says the day of treatment and he says, oh, I can't go, and if you leave me, oh, I'm going to try to kill myself. Every time she goes back to him, she's enabling his behavior because he knows what he's doing. And I feel like his excuses are useless. If he wants to treat you like a queen and he cares about you, then I feel like he would do what is necessarily to get better for the sake of your relationship. You know, and I feel like her going back to him and afraid of what he's going to do, you're enabling his behavior and you're just as guilty as yourself. And you know, and I told her, you know, every time he goes to the hospital, you just let him go. Like, don't feel sorry for him if he's not willing to help himself. And I'm telling her, you know, you cannot break this cycle with him if you continue, if he continues to run over and over you again. Like, this cycle, you're going to be dealing with this for the next 3 years, especially if he doesn't get help. And alcoholism is not something to take very lightly. And I told her, you know, and she mentioned, like, you know, she cares about him. Well, sweetheart, I'll tell anybody, a man, a woman, anybody, love is not always just enough to stay up in a relationship and be miserable. You know, you have to love yourself more to recognize what you are not willing to put up with. And just because you love somebody does not mean you have to be with them, because a relationship takes more than just saying, I love you. Like, it really, and I wish people would understand that. Like, you know, and everybody, even myself, has been in a relationship where you've been so in love that you have been blinded by warning signs and things that you know are not right, but you continue to go through that relationship because you love the person so much. Well, honey, I'm here to tell you today, love is not always enough to be in a relationship. And you don't want to be an enabler to somebody's behavior, because you enabling their behavior results in negative actions. And I just feel like, honey, if he's going to kill himself or do something with himself, he's going to do it with or without you. And I just feel like he tells her that so that she won't leave, because he knows that she is vulnerable. And in his head, he knows that he can manipulate her. So, you know, I tell people, when you're in a relationship and you see things, try not to be an enabler. Like, it's very hard to not do, because you really care about the person you want it to behave, but then sometimes you are doing more damage and harm than any good than you are. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you enabled somebody's behavior and you continue to see the same patterns and you wonder why there's no fix or resolution to that problem? Maybe you should step back and reflect and look through yourself and say, like, what am I doing to contribute to this behavior? And I told her, when you enable somebody's behavior, in a way, you are promoting and inhibiting that behavior and not even realizing it. And so, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you have to recognize what you're doing to contribute to that situation. And you know, it's hard to do. We've all, like I said, we've all been there. I have been guilty of it. And you know, and at the end of the day, with me and being in a relationship and enabling that behavior, I was the one who got hurt, not them. I was the one who got extremely hurt. So when you have to be careful when you're in a relationship, especially when somebody is sick like that, you have to show them tough love and be stern and be like, listen, you're sick. you got to get treatment or this is not going to work. And you have to stick to those rules and those boundaries, or else you're going to keep falling in that same pit hole dealing with the same thing and wondering why your ass is sitting there being miserable and sad when they're acting like everything's okay. Like, you have to pay attention to those kind of things, and it's okay to feel sympathy for them, but don't feel sorry. Like, stick to your grounds and really understand that I want to do what's best for them, and maybe us being together is not what's best for them during that time. I mean, it's hard to do. It takes a lot of reflection, and I mean, I don't know. It's just something that I guess over time people have to realize themselves, like, what am I doing? And just, let them go to the hospital. I mean, I'm serious, just let them go to the hospital. If you don't want to get treatment, like I said, you cannot help nobody who is not willing to help themselves, because they are the key factor in that situation. And listen, if that was my man and I'm gonna try to help him and it's affecting his sex life and his health, and I know if we ever get married and he gets older, I'm gonna be responsible for taking care of him, either you're gonna go to the hospital and get some help, or this relationship is done. I don't care about you blowing my phone up, sending me no emails, texting me and crying. Listen, you a grown man, and I understand you sick, but you ain't nobody's child, and I'm not about to raise you as my child. It's serious, and sometimes people, it's hard to do when people are really sick, but he has to really take accountability for his actions and go to the treatment center and get help. And if he wants to go in the hospital every time you break up with him, let him go. Don't answer a phone call and show him tough love. So have you ever been an enabler or felt like your behavior has contributed to your loved one or your significant other's actions in a relationship? Please, I would love to hear your stories and see what I can do to help you, because being an enabler is very easy and kind of like a sneaky thing to do, because you really don't even realize that you're enabling somebody's behavior, out of your own emotions. So listen, email me at autumnchanel87@gmail.com, or you can post down in the discussion to ask your question, and I'm going to respond. So now let's get to the what should you do question of the day. Oh boy, these questions always get me off guard because I don't never know what they're going to be. So this question is from UB, and the question is, what should I do in a situation when my child is now 18 and he is dishonest and disrespectful? Honey, well, I would say beat his ass, but at 18 he's probably big. But if he's living in your house, not paying no bills, and he's being dishonest and disrespectful, he has to go. Like, you, at this point in time, by law, you are 18 years old. Like, if you ain't gonna stay in my house and respect my rules, you have got to G-O and go. I don't like people being disrespectful, and if you're dishonest, let me tell you, if you're gonna be dishonest and lie, you're gonna steal, and you're gonna steal. Because if you steal, you'll lie, and if you lie, you'll steal. So honey, the best advice I can give you, if you haven't tried to sit down and talk to him and give him no counseling, he has to get out the house and learn the hard way. You got it easy living up in your mama's house where you don't got to pay no bills, a roof is supplied for you got food, you got somewhere to take a shower and use the bathroom, and you want to be disrespectful and dishonest? Honey, not in this world. No, you got to go. So hopefully, if you can't get him to respect you and dishonest, then, again, tough love. Don't enable his behavior and kick him out. He'll learn the hard way and come back around, hopefully. But if it's something that, it's been going on him for a while, and you haven't tried counseling, maybe send him to counseling. If counseling didn't work, then he just bad. I don't know what to tell you. He just bad and just don't have no self-respect for you and for himself. And if you're not going to be respectful in my house, bye, son. So again, thank you for listening. I appreciate you guys being here, and I look forward to hearing from you soon, and have a good day.